I'm Scott Faughn, joined by Aaron Trimp. Aaron, great weekend?
Yeah, pretty good weekend.
Tigers, I took Kelton's advice and took the Tigers, and of course they did not cover.
No, not close.
Uh,
Although I think our betting was fairly spot on 15 to 20%.
yes, I think we might have had the pessimistic bet correct there. But folks, this week we're going to be with you all 4 days at 10 o'clock with a different member of Missouri's congressional delegation. We will tomorrow we'll have Jason Smith on. On Wednesday we'll have Congressman Wesley Bell on. Thursday we'll have Sam Graves on. And today we are very glad to be joined by, at least for now, the member of Congress that covers Jefferson City, Congressman Bob Onder. Thank you so much for making the time.
Great to be with you, Scott.
So, everybody always has a set of talking points for every issue, right? I do feel like, in my gut, the Republicans' talking points on this shutdown have emanated through not just around here where you'd kind of expect, when the president says it, this neck of the woods is going to buy it. I think even in some swing district areas, and people forget, even over in the furthest eastern part of your district, it's Republican, but it's certainly Republican-ish. It's nothing like the further west you go. I think overall, the messaging from the Republicans has won out on this shutdown.
Well, yeah, that's right, Scott. I believe that's true because every so often, even in politics, the truth wins out. The fact is that we Republicans in the U.S. House on the 19th of September, so about 41 days ago, we passed a so-called clean continuing resolution that would have kept the government open for 7 weeks. And what is a clean continuing resolution? Well, we're supposed to, according to the 1974 Budget Control Act, be passing 12 individual appropriation bills every year to fund the government, but that really hasn't happened in over 15 years. Mm-hmm. So a continuing resolution continues funding at current levels. So when we passed the clean CR on the 19th of September, folks like me had to kind of hold our nose a little bit because, after all, clean CR continues funding at Biden administration levels. And this is something that happened 14 times during the Biden administration, that funding of the government happened through continuing resolutions. But all of a sudden, the Democrats decided we're not going to do the usual practice of keeping the government open, keeping our troops paid, keeping our government employees paid, keeping WIC and SNAP funded. We're going to try to get out of the Republicans some incredibly ridiculous concessions, including rolling back all the Medicaid reforms in the One Big Beautiful Bill, including extending the COVID era Obamacare subsidies forever, including restoring $500 million of funding to left-wing broadcasting outlets like NPR, and promising no further rescissions to end waste, fraud, and abuse in government. Well, any one of those demands by Chuck Schumer was ridiculous and was a non-starter, much less all 4 of them. And ultimately, this has been a waiting game, waiting for the Democrats to do the right thing. And we always had the sense that there were a certain number of moderate Democrats who did want to do the right thing and reopen the government. But it's only when the pain of running out of money for food stamps, airport delays this weekend, over half of air travel was either delayed or canceled. It was only when the Democrats had inflicted a critical mass of pain on the American people that they finally came around and decided to end the government shutdown.
Aaron, on these things, the one that stuck out in my mind, I didn't remember at the time, but as you've read about it, it felt like the president won the shutdown when Bill Clinton was in office. That's the first time I remember. And again, I was in high school, so I didn't really pay that close attention. But reading back in the history of it, that's the first major shutdown I remember reading much about. It felt like Clinton came out of that ahead. The Republicans caved. Is it just a staple of, if the president is popular, as Clinton was when the government shut down? Trump is, by all accounts, I know there's folks that
in places he's popular.
Yeah, I think overall, though, Donald Trump's polling numbers are pretty good, especially for a president that's been around this long. Is it just, if the president's popular, it's easier to win these fights?
I mean, the 90s were different because, as the congressman alluded to, we actually passed budgets
back then, and we've been on this CR.
Balanced budget, Aaron.
Balance. Hey, we were in the green there for a while under President Clinton. Just a reminder.
Yep. Just a skosh.
Ancient history.
Ancient history. I think that this is a tool that the party that is opposite of the president has used. The Tea Party Republicans used it back in 2010 and 12 and 14, I think, during the Obama administration. It's not like it's a minority party versus the even that. I think it's the party the opposite of the president sometimes uses it as a tool for negotiation.
I've never met the Speaker of the House in the United States Congress, but I do think he has a very slim majority. It is not a chamber meant to run on very slim majorities. Mm-hmm. I do think it's a testament to him and maybe President Trump, but I don't think you can really honestly assess it without giving the Speaker some credit for getting that CR passed through the House. That was a pretty good job, right?
Yeah, I think that's right, Scott. I think you and Aaron are really onto something. I think you alluded to the two reasons why I think the Democrats, even though they were 100% at fault in shutting down the government, why they thought they could nonetheless win the shutdown. I think the Democrats, Chuck Schumer especially, seem to believe that Republicans automatically lose the shutdowns. And in the past, that has been. So in the Clinton administration, Newt Gingrich and Republicans shut down the government overspending. They wanted to spend less, and Clinton wanted to spend more. And then Republicans shut down the government over border wall funding and over repeal of Obamacare. And I think if one thing has been consistent all the way up to the present shutdown, the party that instigates the shutdown is the one that loses. And unfortunately for my party in the past, generally it's been Republicans who have instigated it. So Newt Gingrich lost against Clinton and so on. But I think this time it was very clear. It was Chuck Schumer pandering to his far left base, his Mamdani base, that he felt he needed the shutdown for his own political survival, and he was ready to inflict pain. And that's why even his opening demands in negotiation were so unreasonable, and why finally some of his more moderate, more reasonable members broke with him last night.
It also was bad luck that Schumer and shutdown kind of go together. It's kind of catchy.
Yeah, they do. It is the Schumer shutdown. I think I tweeted it on day one of the shutdown.
I think you should take total credit for that because, to people that, especially in the beginning of these things, I don't think regular people pay attention. Unfortunately, we're sort of like Nicaragua or something, the way we run government anymore. These have become normal to folks. But Schumer and shutdown, that goes together. I mean, that is an unlucky break for him.
Yeah, I think I agree with the congressman overall. I think Republicans did pay a price back when they were instigating the shutdowns, but I think one of the things that the party that's forcing the shutdown is always playing in their mind is how much pain can we inflict until we start to take heat for it. And I think they got some big wins last Tuesday by some margins that I don't even think many people predicted. The Virginia governor's race was one that margin I haven't seen in Virginia in a while for a state that purple. But I think voters will voters remember a year from now?
I think
they won't.
There's not a hope in hell anybody remembers.
So nobody wants to be remembered for ruining the holidays, and I think that's why you're seeing them come to the table. I also think the moderate Senate Democrats don't want to see the Senate blown up.
Well, don't you think there is a price to be paid for not administering the federal government properly? When the folks have jobs, they expect to be paid, and they're not. That ain't no way to do anybody. But I don't think, I haven't noticed the shutdown personally in a significant way. Now, I'm going to get on a plane 2 weeks from today.
Next week.
and
then you will. Yeah.
I could probably have about as much fun in the airport or at the bar. Casey is going to want to get where we're going.
Yeah.
And that's going to make my life worse. And so my gut tells me, Congressman, your constituents, and I would say if you're looking from a political science perspective, the constituents around the country you're going to need to win over to maintain majority of Congress. If there was a total collapse during the busiest travel week of the year, regular folks would be like, what the hell are y'all doing up there, right?
Right. Oh, yeah, there's no question about that. Yeah, it's ironic with all the pain that was inflicted by the Schumer shutdown The irony is that ultimately it might be the air travel that created
Yep.
the breaking point.
Yeah.
I really thought the first missed paycheck would be the time when the Democrats came around, and then I thought that the WIC program and SNAP food stamps would be the breaking point. But honestly, it really took the flight delays and flight cancellations. And by the way, I don't think Secretary Sean Duffy of the Department of Transportation, I don't think he was doing that for political reasons. One of the air traffic controller union officials said that he had not seen so many resignations and early retirements in all of his years of doing his job.
You can't blame an old boy. If there's an old boy out swinging a hammer in the cold today and he ain't getting paid, at some point he's going to quit showing up to work, or he's going to go work for another crew that pays him. I don't blame Mr. Duffy at all. But
exactly,
people ain't going to show up to work without getting paid.
That's right.
Kelton might, but not everybody's as dedicated as Kelton.
People were calling in sick. People were taking vacation days that they'd already earned. And Sean Duffy early in the shutdown said he did not want to see his air traffic controllers, who have to be at the very top of their game, and they already work 10-hour days anyway. He did not want to see them in their off hours driving for Uber or DoorDash and coming to work tired. And unfortunately, when you have bills on your kitchen table and you've got to keep the electric on and you've got to keep your family fed, you're going to do what you have to survive. So we were really hitting a breaking point where the air traffic control system did need to reduce flights. And over the weekend, 50% of flights were delayed or canceled over this weekend, and that going into the holiday weekend is probably what finally led the Democrats to do the right thing.
You're a pilot, so you probably have a better understanding for what an air traffic controller does than certainly I do. There are some federal employees that do get paid, right, even when the government shut down. Should air traffic controllers be in that group of people that get paid regardless of the politics happening around them?
Yeah, I think that air traffic control. Ironically, Scott, one of those groups of employees that do get paid is us congressmen. So, I very early on in the shutdown sent a letter to the clerk of the House asking that my pay be suspended, and I also suggested that Hakeem Jeffries have his pay suspended too. I think that's absolutely true. We should pass a law that ATC should continue to get paid in a shutdown, 100%.
We'll take a moment and thank our sponsors, the folks up in the great Northwest, as your old colleague Senator Hageman used to say, at United Fiber. The one product, Congressman, that you can say is grown, manufactured, tested, marketed, sold. Everything is kept right in the state of Missouri with the folks with the MoCan Trade Association. And then our good friends at the Courtyard by Marriott here in town. If you're going to have somebody come into town, there's only one place to put them up, and that's the Courtyard by Marriott. Congressman, let me ask you this. There was a strategy, it seemed like, for the Speaker of the House, once you passed the continuing resolution and once the Senate couldn't, that you all didn't come back. What was the rationale behind not just staying and doing your normal legislation to actually staying out of session?
Yeah. I think part of it was a statement that, look, we've done our job when we passed a continuing resolution to keep the government open on the 19th of September, and that really what work, if we can't even fund government, what are we doing in government operations? What are we doing there, passing other bills that are of much less importance? I can't speak for the Speaker here, though, but I think there is a sense that being in that DC bubble, that the constant microphone in some members' faces and the constant barrage of health insurance lobbyists would cause a weakening of the resolve on the part of some of our members, and that wouldn't be good. So I think the decision was made that the quickest way to get the government open again and the shutdown ended would be to stay back in our district. Which, by the way, during this extended district work week or month, I've caught up a lot on my district visits. Folks want you to visit their ethanol plant or their biodiesel plant or their farm or their manufacturing facility or their work center. And your scheduler's trying to fit them in, and they're 2, 3, 6 months out before they can fit them in. I was able to get around the district, visit a lot of places that would have taken a while to get to otherwise. We weren't on vacation, as Chuck Schumer tried to say, but I'm glad that we'll be back to work in D.C. doing the people's business soon.
What I heard from the congressman is that in D.C. there's still an upper chamber that operates.
There's not much one
takes
left here
long.
in Missouri. You mentioned your district. That's looking like that might change. Currently, you go from essentially the Frontier Park in St. Charles all the way over. Do you grab Morgan County is where it ends on the west side? Miller County?
Don't hit Morgan.
Miller?
I don't hit Morgan. Yeah, I end in on the west. I end in Cooper County.
There's been the legislature has came into special session, and they've drawn some new maps. It would essentially be a 7-to-1 map. That is something you advocated for when you were in the Senate, was a 7-to-1 map. It's funny, they kind of drew the whole map to keep you from being in Congress, and now 3 years later, you're in Congress, and there's going to be a 7-to-1 map. It's kind of ironic, huh?
Well, it is ironic. The first I heard of the move toward a 7-1 map in 2025 is a reporter pulled me off the floor, and I was talking to her, and I said, let's meet back at my office. We've got something to talk about. And I was just then became aware that the National Party and President Trump and others were pushing for a 7-1 map. And I asked her, why are you coming to me? And she said, well, because you were an advocate of a 7-1 map in 2022. And I said, well, that is the understatement of the year. And as you remember, the original map that passed by the Missouri House of Representatives that I spent considerable, we'll say, time on political capital on opposing, I really feared would very quickly be a 5-3 map, that we would lose Congressman Wagner in the 2nd congressional district. It is a little bit
as long as Donald Trump's in office, under the current map, I understand there are places, even in this state, that he is deeply unpopular. But boy, they just don't. At election time, Donald Trump is just a damn winner.
When he's on the ballot.
In Missouri.
When he's on the ballot.
When he's on the ballot. In 18, he elected Josh Hawley. He beat a very politically savvy United States senator, beat an incumbent, flipped the seat. I think as long as Donald Trump is on in folks' living rooms and on TV every night, I just think Missouri, you don't have a lot to worry about, do you?
Well, yeah, of course. When we're talking about a congressional map. So the question is whether we're going to send 6 Republicans and 2 Democrats to Congress, or 7 and 1. For all the reasons that Governor Kehoe and other the legislators have discussed, I believe that it best represents Missouri values to draw a 7-1 map. Now, as far as my own perspective of the new map versus the old map, as far as my district, who I represent, I really like both maps. I really love a 7-1 map because it's a 7-1 map, but the new map would give me more northern counties like Lincoln County, Pike, Audrain, Rawls County. But I would lose every county south of the Missouri River.
You don't want to have to put up with Chad Perkins and people like that.
I'd have Chad Perkins as a constituent, but not Scott Faughn.
Yeah, you don't want that. You have Aaron. I'm a bad one, but you would be losing Aaron.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you, Congressman, I'm just going to brag on you for a minute. I'm thinking of signing that petition because I watched some of your colleagues, though. I'm just going to brag on you for a second. You get elected, and everybody pays an obscene amount of federal taxes. My God. The only amount they ever want's more. And if you're in business, I really think if they can get a business to go out, especially small, and they high-five each other in Washington, papers after papers, taxes after taxes, the enemy of the people is the bureaucracy. If you think the bureaucracy is your friend, you're a damn fool. And I watch members of Congress in Missouri. They let their constituents pay all this damn money, just money after money for these greedy asshole bureaucrats. And none of them want to spend one dime in Taos. And they don't know where Russellville is. And they hate anything from Boonville. And the only way the federal government will do anything here is if our member of Congress goes and kicks the damn door in and gets one of them damn bureaucrats in a headlock and starts noogieing them, giving them that. You decide to go to Congress this year.
It's all theoretical, people.
Hell no, it ain't theoretical. It's exactly what he had to do. And you've decided you're going to bring some of our tax dollars home to us. And I salute you for it, and I don't want to lose you.
I would just say he's not physically assaulting
I hope he
bureaucrats.
does. I hope he does.
I want to be really clear.
Whatever it takes. I watched some of your colleagues in Missouri don't do a damn thing. You've decided to get engaged. What was that? What's that process been like for you?
Yeah, 100%. You're alluding to the idea of community project funding, also known as earmarks. There was
bringing our damn money home.
Yeah, I was going to say, there was a time 15, 20 years ago where it was popular for Republicans, fiscal conservatives, to disavow earmarks. I think, and even back then, Congressman Ron Paul, not Rand, Ron, said, "You've got to be kidding. Are we going to cede all of Congress has the power of the purse? Are you going to give all appropriation authority over to bureaucrats?
Yep.
Are you going to bring money home for meritorious projects in the 3rd Congressional District?
Yeah.
Are you going to let some bureaucrat in D.C. decide we're going to fund a transgender clinic in San Francisco?"
That's exactly right.
And the other thing a lot of folks don't understand about earmarks is that not doing earmarks does not save a single dime on the federal deficit or debt. It just gives that money.
Yeah. Just shifts the decision making.
The bureaucrats.
It's already authorized.
So among the community project funding that I've advocated for, and I did get in the budget, if we ever pass the budget, another story, is money for the medical research reactor at the University of Missouri Columbia.
Such a big deal.
Yeah, and I don't know if your listeners know, but there are actually 4 radioisotopes, basically radioactive materials that are used in medicine that only come from the University of Missouri Columbia's research reactor. And that includes iodine-131, which, if you know anyone who's had thyroid disease or thyroid cancer and got it in radioactive iodine, it came from that research reactor. We have 60-year-old lock and dam infrastructure on the upper Mississippi River that we badly need to replace. So there are other projects in central Missouri, including right in Jeff City. I unapologetically. Now, if there are wasteful earmarks like the bridge to nowhere up in Alaska back in the day, well, those legislators should take responsibility and the voters should punish them for their wasteful spending. But there's no question that we should have a voice.
Since you were in the Missouri House, and I have a really strong sense that if there's a tax cut to be passed, you're probably for it. But the fact of the matter is, there's going to be federal taxes. By God, there is. I mean, just Lordy, it's the time of year I'm having to write that damn check, and I'm still pretty red-assed about it. But while that money's spent, I sure as hell trust Bob Onder more than some purple skunk stripe, pussy hat wearing, protesting asshole bureaucrat who are never going to do anything for anywhere around your house, Aaron. Them bureaucrats, if you think they don't hate you, you are so damn wrong. The only person in Washington gives a damn about Aaron Shrimp is Bob Onder.
This is not a point of contention with me.
I'm with
this is Congressman Onder and I are going to agree on this. Not only do we agree on this, and he is my congressman, but we share a mutual favorite human being in his former chief of staff, Tecla Spainhour.
Oh, she's outstanding. Well, speaking of, is there now that you took I-70 and you took it from, it goes through a lot of your home county. I mean, I would say that probably the most built-up continuous stretch probably does run through St. Charles County. Getting that 6-lane is such an enormous infrastructure project. To me, it is truly the biggest thing the state could do. That is in progress of being done. And if you have any questions about it, just drive through your district like I did this Friday. Yeah. I mean, you kind of... It is happening, and you better not be in a big hurry once you get around Wentzville. You better be on that riding them brakes a little bit. But I really think the next big thing for this state, the next big project this state has to accomplish is the nuclear reactor. You have Mizzou in your district, and I think there are some folks, frankly, because you're from the other side of the district, over a couple hours away,
Yeah.
that did not know how you would take up the mantle. But from Moon Choi to Dusty to everyone raves about how the time you spend at the campus, the in-depth knowledge you have, and maybe it's because you're a doctor, but this nuclear reactor, it's the biggest thing the state can do.
Well, it is, Scott, and as you know, that as big as it is now, they are planning a second phase, basically a second, even bigger nuclear reactor. And then another thing that can be explored is actually using the capabilities they have there on site to generate electricity, energy, which we're going to badly need going forward, at that site. So we're really excited about the potential. No, I really enjoyed working with Moon and with Dusty and the whole team there. I think Mizzou is doing a lot of things right. We could only keep our quarterbacks healthy. Other universities around the country, including public universities, are doing wrong. So I think you have great leadership at that university. It's been a privilege to be able to help out in a small way.
You just tell when you got to go, but that damn Moon Choi, he just don't miss. I mean, there was a tragic murder homecoming weekend. Most college presidents, probably rightfully so, shrink from that sort of stuff. They take a step back. Moon leaned into that. I was so impressed with him grabbing the bull by the horns and digging in on that.
Yeah. I mean, it really does take a special kind of leadership to manage, not only through the good times, but through some of the bad things that happen. And I'm so glad to have Moon at the helm there. We're gonna have a great relationship in the years that he and I served the university. That, by the way, is one thing that would not change, regardless of whether the old congressional map or the new one is the one that I ultimately represent. Either way, I will represent a good portion of Boone County. Actually, with the new map, I'd represent a little more, the entire city of Columbia. But either way, the university will be one of my part of my territory.
I gotta tell you, some of the folks that put that map together, the impression and the time and dedication you've spent at Mizzou is part of the reason I think everybody kind of advocated for that. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure before you took office if they were expecting to feel that way. Just to be candid with you, you know what I mean? I think, but after what are we 10 months in? Yeah. They were willing to fight to keep you.
Yeah, I think Scott, again, that stems from a previous era where a lot of attention was put on really, wasteful and, quite frankly, abusive earmarks. Again, things like Tad Stevens and the Bridge to Nowhere back in the day. I have a well-earned reputation for being a fiscal conservative. Sure. And, would Onder, because Blaine was terrific at advocating for the university. He advocated for funding for the research reactor. We want someone else who's going to be like that, who's going to take up that mantle. They weren't sure I was going to be that person, but
I'm just getting a call now from Chad Perkins, I should say. He probably heard us talking about him.
His
now,
ears
let me cover
burning.
Truman's ears for a second here. There was a time when you first came to the Missouri Senate, and right after, that advocating for Mizzou was a bitter chalice to drink from, and there wasn't many folks doing it. It's much easier today to advocate to spend $1 billion on a reactor. I honestly don't know if folks would have trusted them with that sort of investment when you first got elected to the Senate. It is truly a different era at Mizzou.
Now my phone's blowing up. We must have made somebody mad, Congressman. Scott and I did.
Well, Moon Choi was not our president at the time, we know. Yep. Let's face it, universities around the country here, I'm not talking about, MU in particular, but have a reputation for being woke, for spending too much money, for continually raising tuition and spending more money without real outcomes to show for it. I think we're in a different era. I think we made some some very positive changes in the One Big Beautiful Bill this summer in the area of higher education. But no, I think we're on the right track. Oh, you mentioned my schedule. Actually, in a minute we have a conference call with our speaker about what's going on this week. So I will have.
I'll let you go. Please tell Miss Allison we said hello, and we appreciate the time.
I apologize. I had to bump you and Aaron because of Speaker Johnson. But I will. Allison loves the show. And,
I've been bumped for worse.
I'll be back anytime. God bless.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Congressman. Appreciate it.
Congressman.
Okay, I know Bob Onder. Known him for a long time. He wanted to be in Congress really when he was in the House, right? When he would talk on the floor, when we would do interviews, he would talk about federal issues more than even when he was in state government. It is fun to watch a person get something they've always wanted to do, and number one, enjoy it, and number two, be damn
Work
good
hard at it, yeah.
And you could just tell on his face he is a happier person than he was in the state Senate.
Yeah.
And he is an absolutely outstanding member of Congress, and I think I'm going to sign that petition so that we can keep him.
Yeah, there's not that many like places where you're going to say that I feel like somebody who's like ideologically I'm not going to agree on with that many things or be like as far to the right as Bob has been historically in his career. Yeah. But there's a reason that there should be an ideological spectrum, right? Like there's some reason why people should be just a little bit left of center or right of center, and where Bob is at, and he's been really consistent, but he's good at his job.
He's damn good.
You want to keep people who are good at their job.
I mean, the thought that we would get someone new, you know, if you knew he was going to get Curtis Gregory, right? Okay, I might kind of go along and think that's fair enough, but
Mizzou would be happy. Mizzou doesn't lose in that.
Yeah, you don't know that's who you're going to get. You might get. There are members of Congress on the Republican side that don't do a damn thing for their districts. I don't even know what they do all day. I don't even know what they get paid for. Bob Onder went from day one, said, no, hell no. The bureaucracy is not our friend. I'm going to take it to him. And he has, and I don't know how to think higher of him. I mean, and I'll be honest with you. Whatever the expectation was that I had in January, far surpassed it. Far surpassed it. Even Kurt Schaefer, who ran against him. I think if you ask Kurt today, he would say, you know, the guy's doing a great job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Kurt's a big person to say that. But it's kind of hard when you run. It's, you know, back and forth and fighting it out. But I definitely believe that Bob Onder's done a great job, and it'll be damn bad to lose him, because how do you know you're going to get another guy that's going to be a real congressman,
representative,
be a Sam Graves type real congressman? I drove Highway 60 a couple weeks ago. Joanne Emerson, she took those earmarks 10 miles at a time, demonstration, and MoDOT would connect 2 or 3 miles, and she'd get another 10, and she just crawled that highway all the way across to Hillbilly Junction. It is a lasting legacy her family likes. Speaking of Southeast Missouri, folks, I got to tell you, Sunday was our show in Missouri, down in Southeast Missouri. My alma mater went down to Southeast Missouri State University. Had a great time. We visited Jamie Berger, who actually asked me about you. And John Voss, who knows that budget bag. And we had Kelly Welker's husband. Luckily, we had Mark Welker, the prosecuting attorney, but he's more locally known as Kelly Welker's husband.
As he should be.
Check this out. What President Hodson gave me. Look at that. My own bag.
Got it.
I thought I was done with backpacks at SEMO, but it's got goodies in it. Check this out. We got a SEMO flag. We are about to undergo another studio renovation.
For a guy who probably caused that university quite a bit of headache, it's pretty nice they'd give you a backpack full of stuff.
Well, it was really nice of President Hodson to let me come back. They gave me a degree only because I promised to never return. I think that was sort of the deal.
That's a good trade-off.
Then, check this out. We got a book here. Then, he knows.
Wow.
He knows.
Oh,
pen, which I won't use, but
koozies,
which I absolutely
the koozies will get
used.
Yes.
Yeah. Then, check this out. We got a little hooch.
Wow.
Copper Dome whiskey.
Go.
That sounds like a Christmas party time to open up.
Yep.
And then, okay, Aaron, Kelton, where were you at last? What was it, Thursday? No, Tuesday. Last Tuesday. Where were you?
I was in Cape Girardeau.
Can you remember where Jake was Tuesday?
He was with us in Cape Girardeau.
In Cape Girardeau. Aaron, where were you Tuesday? Just
I
curious.
was working, probably.
But what town were you working in?
Probably Jefferson City. I don't remember
okay.
exactly.
Approximately how far is Cape from Jefferson City? About
It's good.
4 hours?
4.5 hours,
good.
5
4.5
from my apartment.
Well, we have a gift for Aaron.
Oh,
From the
that's
university.
beautiful.
That is a big one, too. Look at that.
Look, good vibes. It's almost like they understand my personality.
Yeah.
Be
I mean, I don't know
kind.
how
Look
they
at
would,
this.
seeing as you didn't go. We did. But another
Here?
college we went to, which we're, I guess I'm just going to lie and say grateful that they gave Aaron a gift. But just to be clear, Aaron did not go to not your alma mater, and she did not actually go to the college with us. But we are happy to go and tape the show, and mostly...
You're just mad because I've become a darling of the Southeast because I love it so much. Because I saw Judge Dolan at the game this
And he the
weekend,
best.
and he was much more excited to see me. You're just a little...
Oh, no, I understand what's happening. There was a time in the state when I used to get... And we did pick up a very special sign, 2 of them, that I'll debut tomorrow with Congressman Smith. But But yes, no, people used to like me, and and give me plenty of gifts, and then you came along, and I did get this though.
Mark Welker probably asked you where I was too. I mean, I just
Oh yeah,
the
Mark
inroads I've
Welker.
made.
Yeah. You rub it in. God damn it. Jerry Litton, check this out.
That's fun.
This is
That's
from a guy,
pretty cool.
a buddy of mine, Tommy, up in Nottoway County, sent me this. Tommy, with your permission, there is a person I'm going to give this to, and only because I've got 2 or 3 of them. So, Tommy, if you don't text me otherwise, here in a few weeks, I'm going to give this to Senator Black. Senator Black is on the commission. It is, what is this, 76? So it's the 50th anniversary of the plane crash. Congressman Litton was a great guy. Big Charlet operation up in, or Hereford, I can't remember. Maybe it was Charlet's cattle up in Chillicothe. He beat... So Stuart Symington, a legendary Missouri figure, retired.
Yeah.
His son ran. A couple of the folks ran. Jerry Litton beat them all by a good chunk for the nomination. And on primary election night, he won the nomination for U.S. Senate. 76 was going to be a pretty good year for Democrats, coming off Watergate. He was flying from Chillicothe to Kansas City. His plane went down and crashed in a terribly tragic thing. A man who he was just one of those type of guys. He kind of Chris Koster, Mike Kehoe-like charisma.
When we saw the in memoriam for Governor Carnahan this last kind of anniversary, I actually saw a couple of Jerry Litton staffers comment on some of Governor Carnahan's staff posts about kind of how they felt similarly.
Well, they are going to have a 50th anniversary. I don't know what you call it to be accurate, but we're going to go up there and tape the show. Probably leading up, be toward the end of the primary. We're either going to tape the show there to air next, or we're going to tape the show leading into the primary in Chillicothe. As long as the organization's all right with us, they may not want Jake to come, but that's understandable, But we'll go up there, and they're having a big ceremony, and you're going to read a lot about it here in the Missouri Times. We're going to talk a lot about it. You talk about a man that deserves to be honored, and what a tragedy, what a person of state lost. Went on to have, I think, Governor Hearns replaced him on the ballot, kind of at the last minute, and lost to Senator Danforth, or go on to be Senator Danforth. But Jerry Litton was an amazing figure. So if you don't, when you come down for Mac Legislative Day, you'll be able to see them. I keep them all. I'm going to have to get a little more creative on how I display them all. But we keep all these. But this one I may give to Rusty, unless you tell me I can't. Well, I tell you what, it's fun to talk to Bob Onder. There is an ease about him and a confidence about him that if you only knew him toward the end of his Senate career, and you meet him now, there's just a you could just tell he's doing what he's meant to be doing.
Yeah, I think sometimes you think that characters like him are going to go be grandstanding and be obstructionists.
I don't think that would have been a ridiculous reason.
Yeah, and he's not at all. He's taking that job seriously. He cares a lot about the district.
And Bob's right wing. I mean, don't get me wrong. And he's going to tell you he's right wing, and he's going to do right wing stuff, which is what his constituents liked him. I mean, there ain't nothing phony about Bob Onder, right? He's who he is, but he produces. There is an element of conservatism that I think sometimes that people think, well, you have to be a dipshit to be a conservative. You have to be ineffective. And that's not true at all.
But you can tell that he understands important nuanced differences when we were talking about the budget and we were talking about.
He gets it all. Yeah.
When we were talking about earmarks, that money's already authorized. So you're literally just handing it away if you don't want to spend it or try to bring it back to your district.
Yeah,
and
that nuclear reactor is
that's not philosophically right or left. That's just pragmatism.
So Bob Rand and his primary opponent, his biggest challenger, was from Columbia, very closely associated with the campus in Kurt Schaefer. I'd be willing to bet you that the folks at Columbia, when they saw Bob Lynn, were like, oh damn. Now maybe not Moon, he's pretty plugged in, but your average Mizzou booster that's active at the campus probably thought having a Columbia guy would be great, and having this guy from St. Charles who is as right-wing Republican as you can get. They were probably like, oh damn, here we go. Every single person that's serious. Now there are some folks that never wanted to give Bob Onder a chance.
I also judge people too by the people that they surround themselves with, and Seth is great. Like I said, his former chief of staff in the Missouri Senate, Tucker Spainhour, one of the best people you'll find.
Amanda.
Amanda.
Yeah, more salt of the earth, intelligent. If you want to get something done, call Amanda.
I wish sometimes
Amanda Bell knows things forward and backwards.
I wish sometimes people would pay attention to stuff like that.
Well, I tell you, I would just say the job he's done, I don't think an honest person can have a quarrel with. I mean, if you look, he's a Republican, so if you don't like Republican stuff, you're not going to like Bob. But as far as like the job he's done for this state and this district, I don't think an honest person can be sideways with. I'm very proud to call him my member of Congress for Jefferson City, and I'd hate to lose him because I just don't know that there's no guarantee that you're going to get a member that's going to actually give a damn, that's going to work for you. A lot of them, again, I have no idea what they do all day. If you're not bringing home money, what the hell are you doing up there? Get you a real job. And once you start paying them taxes, when you have to write some of the checks I have to write, you'll appreciate somebody trying to bring at least a little bit of it back home and not just all get pissed away. The shutdown looks like it's going to end. I do think that this, and look, maybe I've just been at Chubby's down in Hayti, and we've been up at Casey's gas station up in Atchison County. Maybe I've not been where the right folks are, but I had to spend a little time in St. Louis Friday. Made it out, by the way, as you can tell. When you're a bigger guy, geometrically speaking, I'm more likely to get shot. I mean, if you just go by the geometry of it.
You often remind Casey and I of that fact.
Well, I rescued Casey
that you would rescue both of us in the danger.
You could probably both hide behind me, which is not probably something I'm proud of, but just geometrically speaking, probably correct. I will tell you, I do think the Democrats, if you're sizing up, they did not come out of this better. I think they came out of this worse. Are there crazy left wings, purple skunk stripe folks going to really be happy ever?
What did President Trump win last Tuesday though?
I don't think his party was going to win the New York City mayor race.
Well, nobody
or the
cares
New Jersey
about that.
governor race or Virginia.
Irrelevant to talk about the New York mayor. No one has ever gone on, with maybe the exception of Mayor Giuliani, although I think that's probably debatable as well, to succeed on a national stage.
Have you ever seen a person? I don't
as
know
mayor
how old
of
you
New York
are.
City, if you want to be on a
late
national,
20s.
If you want to be on a national stage, I think I can give you this advice in pure confidence: don't run for mayor of New York City.
Well, don't get in local government. I
don't think that's true.
Ask Vince Shamel. Vince Shamel had all the money, name ID, and he was mayor of St. Louis. He tried to run for governor, and Carnahan stomped him in that primary. Local government, you have to make real decisions. It's very tough.
Yeah.
I
don't think we should look at New York City as like where the winds are blowing for the rest of the country. But so nobody was ever going to win.
What are you? You're 26, 27?
I am. Everybody, you heard it here first. I'm 26.
I'm a little older
27.
than you. And so I've never seen a person in the public consciousness. Rudy Giuliani was thought of as a good mayor of New York. I mean, I didn't go there, but I think overall his persona was.
My impression of him as a child was like during
9/11 hits,
right.
and then he's above government. He's a national figure.
Well, he was smart. They were begging him to run for They were begging him to do something nationally at the time, and he kind of turned it down.
Well, he ran for Senate. He was going to run for Senate, Hillary Clinton, and he got cancer. He got prostate cancer.
That's right. Okay.
But take as he left the Gracie Mansion, right? his public persona was so high, so incredibly high. Then fast forward 10, 15 years later, I've never seen a person go from here to here faster. Now, I don't think he should have been charged with crimes and all that goofy bullshit.
I still think all this run for it. I mean, I would have expected Michael Bloomberg to do better as a moderate among nationally when he made his presidential run.
Did he run as a Democrat or as an independent?
I thought he ran as a Democrat, but
Well, Rudy Giuliani was a name synonymous with competency, with an amazing public service, and now he just looks like a toady with the hair dye, running down his face. It's kind of sad to see that, because he's somebody I think you looked up to as a Republican, as an effective person to get things done. And I will say this to the Republican Party. Today, being Donald Trump toady and agreeing with everything that's said probably works. I think a few years after Trump is gone, the American public generally doesn't like kiss asses. It's generally not being Smithers to someone's Mr. Burns. I think if you have a quarrel,
are you alluding to our vice president right now?
I don't even think he matters. I mean, I think there's a core of people that'll vote for Trump's successor. It's not enough to win. If the Democrats put up somebody good, seldom do you follow. So
that's what I'm saying. He brings out people when he's at the top of the ticket that other Republicans have tried to figure out.
That will not come out to vote for J.D. Vance.
But they will not come out. I don't know. I think that's an interesting political problem for the Republican Party, is to and just like working class minorities.
It's a big damn problem for the Democrats when Obama left.
The demographic swing that he has forced towards the party is something that I think that those folks are up for grab, and I think both parties have no idea how to talk to them, because when you're in the political elite world, you don't know how to talk to people who work.
Young black men, in my opinion, are going to be the thing that really propels African Americans forward, because I don't care rural Missouri has got this same way. We used to be fought over. Claire McCaskill would win elections by only she would get 37% in Texas County and not 22%.
Right. The margins, you got to put. I think that sports analogies are great in politics. You have to put. Some people don't like them, but you have to put points on the scoreboard. You got to put points on the board.
In my view, rural Missouri was fought over for a while.
Yeah.
Now we are just totally lock, stock, and barrel. We are a prom date. We are assumed. We're not appreciated. No one gives a damn about us. They're obsessed with St. Louis 24/7. If you don't live in St. Louis,
care about your prom date.
Well, I kind of I thought that was a safe. I knew how the night was going to end, right? I thought I knew how we were going to. That was my assumption. No offense to my prom dates. I don't mean to talk out of school, but African Americans in this state, I think around the country, we just assume to vote Democrat. Just how many turn out. The best thing you can be is someone fought over. Ask the ethanol industry. The best thing you can be is have an electorate that's fought over. They had a caucus in Iowa. That's why you know about ethanol, which is a great thing. Worked out great for Missouri, especially North Missouri and Iowa. But when you're reason to fight over you, it matters. And young African American men are actually giving Republicans hope to invest resources and fight over them, and address public policies to things they care about. When you're assumed, whether you're Michael Butler or Scott Faughn, everywhere we're from is just assumed, so nobody cares. They treat us like we're assumed. And it's our own fault. Republicans, rural Missouri has been far too willing to let the Republicans take advantage of them and not invest like they should, and not care about them as much. And until we become more self-interested, before we become more Republican, I don't see how that changes. I just don't.
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, I think Congressman Onder kind of agreed with me. When he's at the top of the ticket, it's a different political calculation. I think
the same thing people are going to be searching for in 28 and 30 and 32 are the same things Missouri Democrats were searching for in 10, 12, and 14. In 08, Obama brought out all these voters. Mm-hmm. And he brought most of them back in 12. But he didn't in 10. He did in 14. They were there to vote for Barack Obama.
Right.
And I think the Republican Party is damn fools if they don't think most of these people are there to vote for Donald J. Trump.
Yep. I think that's true. They are Trump voters. There's a part of that voting electorate in 16, 20, and 24 that they're Trump voters, and that's what they are.
Well, I thank you for the time.
Well, hold on. Before we go, I
right.
have one thing that we are supposed to be chasing down one more nostalgic relic that came out of our Irish takeover. My dad said so.
You're welcome, Missouri. I'm
back. The Jimmy Kirkpatrick, we found the green books, but he said
they're from the 70s.
He used to have a pin. My dad said Jimmy Kirkpatrick used to have a green pin that says "Stolen from the Secretary of State's office" printed on it. So we need to track this pin down.
Missouri, if we could ask you for a favor, if you can find one of these Kirkpatrick pins, we'd be very grateful. The person we should ask is Rachel.
I feel like Rachel has to. They got to be in a box somewhere.
If you want to know anything eclectic that would be like a highly developed subset of knowledge, she's who I start with.
Yeah.
We need to text her.
We need to text Rachel.
If anybody could solve this riddle, I firmly believe it is Rachel.
Okay.
Do we ever see a picture of one?
I looked on the internet. I couldn't find one on the internet, but I assume they're green.
I would have to think, yes.
Green.
They made the blue book green.
So check the green pins in your desk,
I think
folks.
they've made the blue book this year
red.
Maroon.
Oh, it is. No, they went through a whole process.
Well, Denny's jacket is not red. It's a maroon, right?
No, they actually went through a whole process to try to match the color hex on it, which I thought was fairly creative.
If you think your life's interesting, just live a day as Rachel Dunn, and you'll understand.
Yeah.
You'll go back to your life and be very bored indeed. We'll be back tomorrow.
Yep. Who do we have tomorrow?
Let me just ask you, Missouri, can I just talk to you for 1 second? I appreciate your time watching the show. Very grateful. Appreciate Aaron being here in Kelton. What other show is going to bring you during a shutdown breaking members of Congress 4 days in a row? Help me out here. Is there any? No, I think pretty much this one, right?
Yep.
So tomorrow at 10 o'clock, we'll have Jason Smith, the congressman from the great southeast Missouri, Dent County zone. Then Wednesday we'll have Congressman Wesley Bell, who is, folks, if you don't know Wesley Bell yet, tune in. He is a great guy. He is a really positive, excited person to work for his folks. The more folks get to know Wesley Bell, the more they're going to like Wesley Bell. He's a good guy, very competent, and a really good messenger and fighter for St. Louis. I've known Wesley for a long time, and I like Wesley. He'll be with us Wednesday. Then Thursday, the daddy of the delegation, Sam Graves himself, will be here. So, folks, if you got a question, you can just text me, 573-429-5770. I would never give out Aaron's number quite like that. So if you have a question, text me. You could direct message me or Aaron.
We got blown up today, so we'll have to figure out
Chad,
what fires we started.
We were just kidding.
Sorry, Chad. I didn't
we were
say
just
it,
kidding.
Chad. It wasn't me.
Well, blame the congressman, right? Thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you back here 23 hours from now, TWMP Daily. And Sunday, we don't know what we're doing this week in Missouri politics, so go watch last week's. President Hodson was an outstanding guest. Simo was a wonderfully gracious host. And we have Kelly Welker's husband, Mark, on there. We'll see you back here tomorrow for the TWMP Daily.